I've been high for over a year. I pick up THC oil or marijuana buds, either 3.5 grams of the oil or 7 grams of buds per week. I smoke every 2 hours ish, sometimes more often, without fail from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed every day. I'm a college student studying medical coding. I have over 95% in all of my classes. But yeah, I've been high for over a year now. I ghosted my boyfriend of 5 years. I came over to his house one morning to surprise him with breakfast and a video game he wanted, only to find him naked, asleep, and with his ex curled up in his arms. He didn't hear me coming, so I closed his bedroom door and left his breakfast and game on the kitchen counter along with my key to his house. I went to my car, deactivated my Facebook, and blocked him on all other forms of social media. I then called my phone provider to change my number before driving off. I texted family members and close friends that we were no longer together and to block him on social media as well. I didn't tell them why. I was in a position to end the lease at my apartment early, and I started a new job in a different city later that week. I completely removed myself from him and didn't offer a shred of explanation or opportunity for dialogue. I disappeared from his life. I once left lesbian hentai in the search history on the family computer as a kid and my dad took the blame for me. Sorry, Dad. When I was a kid I told my parents I only like dark chocolate, so my little brother got the blame for eating all the other chocolate when I was the one who ate them. I stole over $20,000 in a very creative way in the 90s. I worked at a fast food chain in the 90s when I was in high school. When I worked there they were in the process of phasing out denominational gift certificates. $5, $10 and $25. The way it worked was if you spent more than half of the certificate they gave you the cash back. So if you ordered $5.50 worth of food and gave them one of the $10 gift cards, they gave you the $4.50 back in cash. My manager was in charge of destroying all the existing certificates as we transitioned to the more traditional credit card looking gift cards. So my manager said he shredded the certificates like he was supposed to. But one night when I was closing I found 2 boxes of the gift cards tucked deep in the dry storage room. They were filled with the certificates that were supposed to be shredded. So I scooped them up, brought them out to the dumpster in trash bags and threw them away. After we closed, I came back and recovered the bag and brought the certificates home. I counted them. There were $1,025, $1,010, and $505 certificates. None of them had expiration dates. Total haul was $40,000 in fast food certificates. My manager never said a word. He couldn't. He had reported them destroyed weeks earlier. Over the next 3 years my girlfriend and I toured every location in our state and the next 4 states ordering food and getting the change. We never kept track on a spreadsheet or anything, but we got good at knowing what menu items were just about half. After the first year, we started saving the change in a shoebox and let it build up. I bought my first car for $7,800 cash from the change, and for some reason a kiddie cone was $1.05. If you gave them a $5 cert they gave you $3.95 back. We threw away a lot of kiddie cones. I thought I was a pretty good dad until I was tested. My son threw a snowball at me and I instinctively blocked it with my daughter. The look of betrayal on her snow-covered face has haunted my dreams for years. Found out my dead best friend was in love with my wife. I'm writing this as a confession because I don't know where else to speak about this and I don't want my kids finding this out on my main account. My friend died a few months back due to heart problems. He was taking care of himself so it was a shock to everyone, especially his wife who was with him at their house when he died. Due to this she decided to move somewhere else and, because she and her daughter were still distraught she asked me to pack up his stuff. He had some boxes in his basement and after a while I started feeling nostalgic and decided to look into them. I found pictures of us from when we were kids all the way to before we got married. That was enough to make me feel bad and I just got back to taping them up. But one of the boxes seemed to be in much better condition, so I decided to check it in case it was something important. To my surprise I found out pictures of him and my wife from when we used to hang out together, as well as more recent pictures from family reunions, the most recent being from my wife's birthday party. Alongside the pictures there were letters that he never sent her. The first one dated 2 months before I met her. The last one was also the same date of her birthday party. There was one that stood out the most, was one from after I started dating her. He wrote that his time had passed and since my happiness was as important as his own, he would watch over us. I'll keep his box safe since it isn't my secret to reveal. I cheated to get my bachelor's and my master's degree. Yeah, I cheated. I didn't write any of my papers. I didn't do any of the work myself. I stole a lot of work. Took only classes anyone I knew did and used all their work for it with minor changes. I made it through 6 years and got 2 degrees. I got a scholarship out of high school by cheating. I cheated during the SAT. I cheated most of my life and I feel a little bad, but not really. Thanks to a couple real ones for holding it down for me. Wouldn't have made it this far without you. I slept with my daughter's ex-boyfriend. He got me pregnant and I had an abortion. They got back together and got married. This was back in, let me think, maybe 1997. I was 38 and my daughter was 18. And she was dating Harry, who was 24. I was an alcoholic and dabbled in other drugs, mostly cocaine. I was not a good person, let alone mother. Not like I was abusive to my daughter or anything, but I was generally inattentive and cared more about my alcohol and drugs than her, especially in her teen years. I'm 14 years sober now. I disapproved of my daughter dating Harry, but I never told her why. He would flirt with me, constantly, and the age difference also creeped me out. Also, he was an alcoholic and drug user, just like me. She broke up with him over his alcoholism. Soon after she moved away, not too far, but regardless she didn't live with me anymore. Harry kept calling me and asking if we wanted to get drinks. I turned him down. But then one day he said he had a bunch of coke and I couldn't resist. He came over, we did the coke, and we ended up having sex. He was a very good looking guy. He looked a lot like that ridiculous 80s Justin Bieber picture that was on the front page today. That is actually what made me think about him. For the next few months, maybe like 3 to 4 months, he would sometimes come over and we would have sex and do drugs and get drunk together. Any drug addict knows what that is like, to have a drug addict buddy in that way. Then I got pregnant. I knew it was by him. I had sex without a condom a few times stupidly. I never told him I was pregnant, and I went and got the abortion and kept it a secret. Anyways, I stopped seeing him after that. It was too weird. I also got sober for like 4 months before relapsing. Fast forward 2 years and my daughter contacts me and tells me that she got back with Harry and that he is fully sober. I was mortified, honestly. He was gonna tell her that we slept together and she is going to hate me for life. They came over one day and said hi, and when my daughter was gone, Harry told me that there is no reason to tell her about what happened. I agreed. It's been 16 years of marriage on their part. They have a kid together. Harry got cancer, then beat it. I got sober, that's basically it. I don't see them very often. They live in Texas and I live on the East Coast. But whenever I do, there is always that tension between me and Harry. It's literally the first thing that comes to either of our minds. I can just tell. Not like sexual tension. Like, why did we have to do that? What the fuck is wrong with us? Kind of tension. I think about this often. Especially when I see my grandson. I always think that could have been my son if things had gone differently. But wow, what a disaster that would have been if I decided to keep that child. Before I went to bed, I called my girlfriend with a low battery and told her I'll talk to her until my phone died. She began talking about The Bachelor and I pretended my phone died by hanging up. My brother beat me up, so I ruined his relationship. My brother and I have a very bad relationship. There's a lot of yelling and cussing, but we never got physical until one night he came home very angry and just started punching and kicking me. Our parents weren't home, so I guess that's why he felt brave. I ended up with a busted lip, a black eye and a bunch of bruises all over my body. After that our father sent him away for a while. A few days later I used my mom's phone to accidentally call his girlfriend and left it on while I talked to my mom how worried I was that he was capable to beat up his little sister. Imagine what he could do to his girlfriend. When I was in middle school, my friend, Jay, told me that he liked a girl, L then told me the next day that she liked J, but they both told me not to tell anyone. So I didn't. LMAO. I got a girl deported because we got into an argument. Years ago I was browsing Facebook one day and I saw a girl I went to high school with arguing with some other people. I was browsing through the comments and noticed they were all using some really incorrect terms and had some really bad misconceptions about the topic. I wanted to hop in there really quickly and just clarify the terms they were using and show them what terms they should be using so we could have an informed debate. She got so mad at me and told me that I was trying to discredit her and make her look stupid. She made a Facebook status about me in a long rant and was making some pretty hurtful claims. She then blocked me so that I couldn't respond to the claims. I made a fake account and added her as a friend again and found an old status that she made about how her parents illegally brought her over the border as a child. I submitted the photo of her status to a few government agencies and then finished out the school year and forgot about it. She never came back from summer break and some of her close friends mentioned that she had been deported with her family. I regret doing that because she couldn't speak Spanish because her parents wanted her to live here and truly be an English-speaking American, and now she is in a country that she doesn't know and she can't speak the language well or at all. I intentionally ask women well above the legal age limit, alcohol, to show me their ID. I work as a cashier at a grocery store. Whenever a middle-aged woman, who clearly looks older than 21, purchases alcohol from me, I intentionally ask them to show me their ID. I do this because somewhere deep down I feel that if I ask them for their ID it creates an impression that they look far younger than they are. I do this every chance I get, regardless of how busy the line is, in hopes of making them feel younger and possibly happier. I lied about my height for most of high school, so once I stopped growing I was at a happy 6 foot even, but that wasn't enough for me. I needed more. I would tell everyone I was 5 foot 10 inches. I noticed there was a large population of guys who claimed to be 6 foot but were just under the mark, so to really drive the point home, I'd argue that I'm under 6 foot, and since they're shorter than me, they can't be 6 feet tall. Watching the panic in their eyes as they tried to defend their height was the highlight of my high school experience. My husband and I decided to indulge in a little cocaine tonight and used it to clean the shit out of our house. My husband, 33, and I, 28, have been married for almost 6 years and together for about 9. No children besides our puppies, but we hope to have some in the near future. While we are not regular hard drug users, we do like to have a little fun once in a while. We've done cocaine together a handful of times during the course of our relationship. Always together, always at home. So I guess you could say we are responsible drug users, if you agree that such a thing exists. Regardless, it would probably cause a lot of shock to my friends and family if they knew about this periodic indulgence of ours. We are otherwise pretty square and boring. I should probably feel bad, but I don't. My house is super clean and the both of us actually enjoyed having something to use our cocaine energy on. I'm about to take a really hot shower with my hot ass husband and then we are probably going to have sex for a few hours. Life is pretty fucking great.
Cowbelly, let's go, baby.
Demonetization is dropping your rating to stop a migration of top innovation and content creation in an opposite way. I saw your new status and got inspiration to drop a new cape. On top of your face is a mock and the face of the clock is still raised. The mob is impatient. A monster is late, cannot just escape. News drop like a cave. YouTube Ukraine. You thought you would make it. Asked all the creators who want to get paid for their awesome creation. So take the advice of God and make it. All I got to say is Cowbelly TV gets more traffic than a metropolis. Yes bitch, that's me. And I'm still looking for where my profit is.